Hey, this is Jim, one of your hosts with NDI November. We have another system integrator spotlight for you today. Today, I'm going to be talking with Sam Avellone from NPi, a full-service AVL, audio, video, and lighting, and system integrations. So Sam is going to talk to us about NPi and some of the great case studies and work that he's been doing in the NDI industry. With a company named NPi and technology like NDI, it was like almost meant to be together. Sam, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Sam, do me a favor. Let's start by doing a brief introduction of yourself and NPi to our audience today.
NPi Audio Visual Solutions just celebrated our 30th year in business. We have 4 separate divisions of the company. The first one, which I head up, is our system integration side, which is anything that's a purchase. Whether you're buying a microphone or a full integrated AVL system, if it's a purchase, it's going through the system side.
Okay.
The company started in 1992 as a staging and rental house. And we built, actually, the owner of the company used to work as a banquet manager at Embassy Suites Hotel, and he went through 4 different AV companies in that first year because he was unhappy with their service. So he started NPi at the time, focused on the hotel market. And we still do that, but that quickly evolved into staging, rental. We have the largest inventory of video projectors, video walls, concert sound, outdoor stages, anything in the AVL realm. We do full lighting. And then we have an in-house video production division that will take content and either create content, modify content, edit, duplicate from these events that we do. And then we also have an entertainment division. NPi Entertainment is like a booking agency for bands, DJs, any kind of event entertainment, mimes, you got it. So pretty much we do anything in the AV realm.
That's great. And we're going to talk a lot about the system integration side today, and specifically about NDI technology and NDI products. We're going to talk about how you're using these NDI products with your clients throughout the country. And I wanted to ask if there are some specific projects that you would like to share where NDI technology has been a major part of that.
Sure. We're pretty heavy in the education market. Okay. And years ago, we'd have to do a separate system in, let's say, the football stadium for AV, and another system in a gymnasium, and a third system performing arts center, and a 4th system in the classroom for curriculum. With NDI, now we build one broadcast studio, and the only thing that goes to the other venues are the cameras and our portable NDI rack.
Okay.
And let's say, for example, we're talking about the football stadium. So we take the portable NDI rack to the stadium, we plug in the cameras, we plug in the audio from the stadium, the announcer, if you will, and we plug in the intercom. It then converts all of that to one Cat6 cable, and we plug in to the school network, and it travels back to the broadcast studio. In the studio, they switch the game, do the instant replay, highlight reels, ads, sponsors, logos, whatever, and send it back to the video board in the stadium in real time with no latency. Simultaneously, we're web streaming and we're broadcasting to anywhere else in the district that's on that network. Concession stand monitors, classrooms, hallways, anywhere else in the district that's on that monitor. So what happens is the NDI network allows us to send information to the broadcast studio or receive information from the broadcast studio all over the school network.
That's great. And I think what we're looking at here with the Graveport Madison High School is one of those broadcast studios that you've set up there, right?
Correct.
Excellent.
And that's an ongoing project now. We're We're putting PTZ cameras in the gym and in the Performing Arts Center. This is just their studio. And they're putting PTZ cameras in their stadium. It's all going to be NDI. It's all going to come back to the studio and get processed in the studio.
That's great. And it's one of the things too, that when you talk about the way you're doing the centralized studio with cameras and video sources deployed throughout campus, whether it's on the fields or in the theaters, a lot of people immediately think of higher education. But there is a huge marketplace in the secondary schools that want to do all of this broadcasting stuff as well, right?
Absolutely. It's a huge market.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it allows them to bring together the athletic department and the video curriculum department. So typically for the schools that do it correctly, they'll utilize the kids from the video production classes, and they come over and do the games on Friday nights or whatever, and they get that firsthand experience of live video production while they're learning it. But the athletic department then gets the revenue. Sometimes they split the revenue between the two from the advertising and, more importantly, sponsorships on that video board. You typically don't want to sell ads on a video board because there's only so many 30-second spots that are available during the game. The referee's not going to stop the game to, run an ad. So what you want to sell are sponsorships. For example, the McDonald's Instant Replay of the Quarter, or the Arby's Halftime Report, or the Coach's Corner brought to you by Liberty Ford. Right. You can keep making these sponsorships as many as you want. And some of these schools are doing six figures in 6 to 8 home games. And it's all because of the NDI technology that makes it happen. So it's revenue generating.
And here we're looking at Lima High School, where you've done a broadcast studio using NDI technology. So you're doing NDI not only on the video sources, but in the production systems in that studio as well, right?
Correct. And the audio as well. Correct.
That's
Lima, in addition to being a broadcast studio, we also put a recording studio in there. Okay. So they could rent that out to the public. People want to come in and do, whether it's a poem or guitar player or choir or whatever, they have a separate recording studio in addition to the broadcast studio.
That's great. That's another interesting revenue source, I'm sure, for the school, or just a community program where the community could help be involved in some of these investments that they're doing in the technology.
Right.
And then here we're looking at Steubenville High School, and this is that rack that you were talking about just a moment ago, right?
Yeah, this is the two pictures on the right are the portable NDI rack that makes the NDI happen. Okay. Everything plugs in on the back panel, all the inputs and outputs, and then it's processed on the front. That's a pull-out KVM drawer. So it's all self-contained, easy to move, rolls around, plugs and play, and away you go. The key to this is, the network itself. So
right.
That's important.
Absolutely. And one of the great things, too, is that by doing all of this, you have the ability to control all the video sources from all over campus in this centralized production studio. But then, like you talked about with the rack, you have that portability where I'm sure if one of these schools needed to set up a portable production somewhere, they can do that as well, right?
Correct. We also do what we call portable AV flight patch. Okay. There are some schools that would prefer to take the system out, and it's all in road cases, and the equipment's the same that's in the studio, but we also order the portable flight pack concept as well.
That's
more
great.
And more people are going to the fixed studio with the NDI because it's easier to move and less time and less weight and all.
Absolutely. And that is one of the nice things that the technology gives you. If you can run the Cat6 to your production studio, to your video sources, once it's all there on the network, it's available to everyone. And that's not only true in a school environment, but NPi is working with some professional organizations as well, right?
Yeah. We use NDI on our stadium rental. We're giving an example. We're on the road with professional bull riders. Wow. And you get in those big arenas, that's too long of a run to run SDI cable, for example. So we do everything NDI for the video camera and the video portion of it. Those are our video walls hanging there. You see the control center in the middle for lighting, sound, video, and the video processing on the right that's powered by NDI.
And these are big events. I haven't had the pleasure of going to one of these events yet, but I heard Professional Bull Riders really does a really nice job in hosting these live events. People say it's a blast to go to.
Oh, it's wild. And some of our crew, they love going. These guys are on the road for, 2-3 months at a time with Professional Bull Riders. And these guys don't mind. They love it.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a lot easier to set up the production system when you get to enjoy the show afterwards too, right? And just get to hang out and watch it all being done. So, Sam, one of the questions that comes up, especially I think in the school markets, is there are some challenges that you run into when you're setting up these broadcast systems, especially when you start implementing different parts of the campus. What is probably the biggest challenge that you run into?
I think the single biggest challenge with NDI is getting the IT staff to understand what they need. A lot of times you'll get a guy that's all locked down. He wants to lock down the firewall, lock down the network. It's like, wait a minute, this doesn't work if we do that.
Right.
So getting the IT people on board and to understand NDI and how it works is probably the single biggest challenge. And that we have to address head on, because without the IT department, we're done. In terms of, you can build all these consoles and broadcast studios, but if it's NDI driven, without the IT department, you have nothing.
Well, Sam, I would imagine that NPi is a little bit used to this. I mean, I remember a world where the lighting technician, the video technician, and the audio technician could not even be in the same room for more than 5 minutes. But now you guys are bringing in specialties with all three of those fields, and now you're integrating IT as well to get everything to play along together in that same production. And when people start seeing some of the features that you get by simplifying these workflows, that's when everyone decides to buy in and say, hey, this is an exciting way to go, isn't it?
Sure. I mean, there used to be a time not too long ago where there was a very distinct line between AV and IT.
Yep.
And now that line is gone. If you're not doing NDI, you're a dinosaur.
Yep.
Basically.
Absolutely. And it's true, because you see all of the different features and integration and simplicity and flexibility that we've talked about throughout the entire month of shows with NDI November. When you start talking about that AV over IP technology, it really does give you the flexibility of mapping all of these different video sources, production sources throughout an entire environment. So whether you're talking about a school with multiple different projects and multiple campuses, or you're talking about something like the Professional Bull Riders, where you're trying to get that event set up quickly, easily, have a great production, and then tear it down and move to the next city. That can all be done with NDI, but also with a talented integrator like NPi. Sam, where is NPi located?
We're in Cleveland, Ohio. That's where our home office is, our base. We go all over the country, but we're based out of Cleveland.
Excellent. OH.
Ohio.
There we go. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. If you have any questions about any of the solutions that we talked about, if you're interested in learning more about how NDI technology can help benefit your school, your staging, your event or venue, you can reach out to NPi directly by going to their website at npiav.com or by giving Sam and his team a call at 216-514-5023. Sam, thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Tune in for all of our shows at ndinovember.com. You can check out this as well as all the great content that we have available for you on the NDI products and technologies and implementing it into your production workflow. Thank you for tuning in.